Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Congress is considering a transportation appropriations bill right now as we speak. It's critical that with California's failed high-speed rail project that has sought money year after year after year from the federal level, that we don't give it another dime. Indeed, this document does not provide any new money for the high-speed rail project, but they're certainly seeking it. There's reportedly proposals for $3 billion requested by Governor Newsom, and even reported asks of a possible $28 billion is what they really seek. Interestingly, because this original project, let's go back in history just a little bit. In 2008, a proposition was passed on California's ballot with the idea that let's build a high-speed rail system from San Francisco to LA. The cost, the voters were told, $33 billion, okay? It would have to be a high-speed rail that would go from the two cities at approximately 220 miles an hour and get the job done in approximately 3 hours or less. So it's fallen far short of those goals, and they only have to have one high-speed train a day go in order to be eligible to be called a high-speed train. Otherwise, it's going to be a commuter line stopping in every little burg along the way. As it's turning out, from San Francisco to San Jose, it looks like they're going to use local electric rail, and so you have to jump on a train in San Jose that then take it down to an undetermined point in Southern California, and perhaps jump on another train there. As I mentioned, and we were talking about this last night in the debate, you could take a Southwest Airlines plane and already be on the beach and have half of a sunburn before you can get off the high-speed rail at that point. So, what is the cost these days? That's the interesting part. $33 billion is what they're sold in 2008. A year later, they adjusted the price up to $42 billion. And not long after that, when I was still in the state legislature, they actually admitted the price then would be $97 billion. Today's estimates show it to be $128 billion. How much have they had, how much construction is finished on it? Well, the voters were told in 2008 it'd be ready to go by 2020. Well, it's 2023 and not a single mile of track has been laid. Some of the infrastructure, they have some bridges and aqueducts already built around Fresno and such, but it's nowhere near being completed. They're trying to do it in segments, so they're doing the Central Valley segment because, as they said at the time, this is pretty funny, they can build it in the Central Valley, there's less people there, so there's less resistance to having it built, okay? So they're gonna do a segment from Merced to Bakersfield where it ends up in an orchard somewhere as the terminus. So at that point, we're finding they need $28 billion just to complete that segment, not the entire thing. So it's been a boondoggle from the beginning. Lies, basically, from the rail authority about what's going to happen with the timeline, the environmental work, and the amount of jobs. Here's another good one. They were promising there'd be 1 million jobs for California. Well, 3 years into the project, they finally admitted that'd be 1 million job years. Well, currently they claim 5,000 people are working on the rail. And so at that rate, for 1 million job years at 5,000 people, that would take 200 years. 200 years to complete this system. Well, the people that voted on it would probably like to see it done in their lifetime, which may not even happen. I think at this point, why don't we just cut our losses and move towards something that is useful, not just for Californians, but for all Americans. Indeed, we want to do infrastructure around here. Why don't we do true infrastructure? You know, we talk about highways, we talk about a lot of things. I'm focused a lot on California's water situation. We have several projects to add to its water supply so it can continue to grow crops and people can thrive in our state. Not just environmental water, it gets shifted more and more towards fish water and running it out the delta that doesn't actually help that situation or do anything environmentally positively anyway. So instead of more money into the pit, keep coming to Washington, D.C. to do something that's only covering this little portion of California instead of San Francisco all the way to L.A., they don't even have the route planned out. They don't even know how they're going to get the last leap from Bakersfield into Southern California. Are they going to build a tunnel through there with all that seismic activity? Are they going to go around it? Are they going to go over it? They don't know yet. They don't even have the whole plan this many years into the project. And they still want more money from Washington, D.C., from all federal taxpayers. I propose instead, why don't we shift money into other infrastructure that can help all Americans? These crops you see that are grown in California, Look at these numbers. 100% basically of walnuts, tomatoes grown commercially, grown in California. Many of these other crops, 90+% grown in California. That's what benefits Americans, is having a stable food supply. So dollars invested into our water system in California would go much farther than wasting money on high-cost rail. I yield back.